will come in and they'll usually do my 2,700 seaters, and it's still very intimate, even though there's 2,700 people.
I like intimate.
It's that weird thing. Like we have Ron White come in all the time, comedian. And when Ron blew up like years, 10, 15 years ago.
Is he okay?
Well, yes, he's okay. He's okay.
Hey, everybody. On today's episode of Madge Unmuted, we have Dunkirk's own Rich Corsi.
You are not going to believe what we talked about on this episode.
It's crazy. And Rich is going to tell us how to get famous. Really, I'm telling you, it's like magic beans and Jack and the Beanstalk shit. Join us on today's Madge Unmuted. Come on in, the water's fine. I'm your hostess, Madge, and we're talking about how to get famous today. I got my friend here from high school. Yeah, we got Fitz and Chris, as always. We got Rich Corsi. He is the vice president of programming at the Columbus House Record and Tapes. No, what?
It's Kappa. C-A-P-A Kappa.
Yeah. Columbus
Association for the Performing Arts.
So you book acts at this big theater in Columbus, Ohio, right?
Yeah, so I'm the vice president of programming at Kappa, which is a nonprofit arts organization in Columbus, Ohio. We run two 2,700 seat theaters, two 900 seat theaters, 758, 582, 250, 175, and 60.
Jesus
so we have
Christ.
all those venues. Yeah.
Good God.
Okay.
It's a lot of
That's
popcorn.
That's a lot of...
No, I know you don't have popcorn.
Do you have support staff?
Yeah, I've got 3 people in my programming department that just kind of keep me sane because as I get older, it takes a lot. It takes a village.
Yeah. So. Well, it took a village when you were young too.
Yes.
So
good point. Very good points.
Right, Cordu. I love Rich. And if you hear me call him Cordu, that was his nickname when we were kids. Is it okay to call you that?
People still call me that, even in Columbus.
Still no idea where that came from.
No idea.
Okay.
But it stuck.
Yes, it did. So anyway, all right. So I wanna know how to get famous. So I got questions, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Do you book acts, or do you reach out to them, or do they come to you?
So it's a little bit of both. I work with a lot of good agencies throughout the country, like William Morris, CAA, United Talent Agency. So a lot of the heavy hitters, and then we have smaller boutique agencies that I work with. All the artists that basically come into my venue have representation through the agencies.
So I got to get an agent. Okay.
Yes, that's the first step. And then there's a lot of times that I will approach people, and there's a lot of times where people will approach me. A lot of times when they're approaching me, they are getting ready to go out on tour. They've got a route from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Yeah.
And so they've just got to call a ton of venues, see who will throw in offers, and then they just start routing. They get out their map and stick pins in it. And
I wondered how they did that. I mean, I knew, like, yes, you're trying to go relatively in order in not chronological, what is it, by destination, whatever, by real estate. And to try and coordinate that has got to be tough. So in these smaller, what are the smaller, how big, how small?
So we've got some smaller studios that are like 60, 175, and like 250. We do a lot of local acting companies and folks that do their 3-week productions in those. Usually my smallest house that I'll book in is 582. You've got to have a certain quantity of seats to even get close to breaking even and making money. So 582 is that low threshold, and then my big theaters are 2,700.
Jesus Christ. Okay, well, I'm going to aim for that 2,700 one.
Oh, yeah.
That's on my 5-year plan.
Yes.
No, let's make it a 3-year plan.
Yes.
Because I'm 60. I don't have much time.
Well, good point. I'm same age, so I can't say much.
That's 83. Woo!
Yeah, but that's a good point. So with the venues that I have in Columbus, I'm able to get an act that may not be massive popular, and they're just starting out, so I can put them in my 580. Then they can bounce to my 900, and then when they get big, they go to the 2,700. So we can actually grow the artists coming into our venues, which
Yay.
is a unique situation to have, but we love taking advantage of that.
I love that. That's awesome. I don't need to grow my BMI, my audience, I want to go. So my next question is, hang on, I have to take a sip.
Yeah, vodka.
Yeah, I was just
My vodka. We got to stop in 45 minutes because I got a martini waiting at the club. So anyway, so no, okay. My next question, like, so do you have certain types of? Are you restricted to what acts? Like,
No.
I mean, like, so do you have? I see these people all the time that have bigger, what do you call them, podcasts, and they go. I know they go on tour with their live show. Do you ever book those?
Yeah, we have. I mean, depending on the podcast, we'll do Small Town Murder, Welcome to Night Vale. We'll do some of those like in our 900 seater. But once they get big, it's interesting because it's hard to do like a podcast in an arena. So the bigger podcasts that come in will come in and they'll usually do my 2,700 seaters, and it's still very intimate, even though there's 2,700 people.
I like intimate.
It's that weird thing. Like we have Ron White come in all the time, comedian. And when Ron blew up like years, 10, 15 years ago.
Is he okay?
Well, yes, he's okay. He's okay. He's divorced, but he's okay.
Okay.
But when he got big, like Foxworthy and Larry the Cable Guy and those guys all went to arenas and did arenas, Ron never liked it. He just didn't feel the intimacy with the audience. So he would do 2 shows at my 2,700 seater and just love it. He loves the vibe of the people and he can see everybody. And there's nothing wrong with doing arenas as a comedian because you're making a lot of money, but it's just, they're just out there performing.
I mean, because when you got like, who did the last big show, the last 2 Netflix things I've seen were like John Mulaney and Sebastian Maniscalco. And it's pretty much like a one man show. It's not, but yeah, so like, I'm assuming kind of like Smartless would be out of would they be bigger than what you can? I mean, they were doing pretty large. You know what Smartless is?
Oh yeah. I mean, they're big. I mean, probably Bill Burr came through.
Right.
Burt Kreischer came through. They're doing arenas. I mean, it makes no sense. Who's going to say I'll take $50,000 over $500,000? It's like you might as well do the arena, and then in the latter part of your career, you can always come back to the venues and still play 2,700 seats, and it's very respectable.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'll have to work my way up to respectable. So like, I gotta look at, because every time I see one that I kind of listen to, I mean to like really investigate their tour, like where they're going, what kind of rooms they're playing, what kind of theaters, like Giggly Squad.
Oh yeah.
Hannah Berner and Paige DeSorbo, like they're, I guess, big, but they're also kind of a niche. They're kind of like, Bravo girls. Yeah. And so I wonder who's doing that.
Like Hannah's a good example. Like Hannah came in, I think she did her 900 seater, did well, did well.
As a stand-up or?
Yeah, just stand-up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then Giggly Squad came in and just blew out the Palace, which is 2,700 seats.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Put it on sale and it just sold out in minutes. So it's kind of that cool thing where, you're stand-up, you're playing the 800 people in a theater, and then you just you hit that thing and you just got to ride it. I mean...
That's what she said. So anyway,
boom.
I don't know, Rich, you bring this out in me. This, I feel like I'm back in, middle school locker room.
Oh, yeah.
With not that I was in the locker room, but lunchroom.
Say, why were you there?
Yeah. Well, don't ask.
Yeah. I was plugging up the peephole from Mr. Stu Miller's class on the other side.
Great guy.
Okay, so do you have much interaction with these performers when they come in?
Yeah, we see them all the time. So it's a weird thing. Like when you live in the business and you go backstage and you see artists, you're not like, oh my God, I love your show. That's their home away from home. So we always have massive, massive respect for folks. And, I mentioned Ron White. Ron comes in all the time. Great human being. Seinfeld's come in. He's fantastic. 99% of the folks that come in are just so happy to be working and happy people want to come out and see him. So
have you become, John?
Jerry is fantastic. Fantastic. He surrounds himself with good people.
Yeah. So what the hell is I going to say? So have you become friendly? Like, you got any of them in your phone now? I mean, I know you try and be professional, but you never know.
I have to go through, like, a lot of times when usually 2 weeks out before the show, you're talking to the artist people. So I've got a lot of people on my phone that come in, and it's just people that I've worked with. You have to find out what they want to eat, where they want to stay, how to get to the venue. And I've just got a ton of people. I found it's really weird. That's
why it takes you forever to answer my texts.
Oh my God, it's unbelievable. I was going through something the other day and I had Willie King in my phone, and it's BB King's son. And I'm like, oh, totally forgot I had Willie King in here. And there's a bunch of people in here, but I don't do anything with it. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, what am I going to do? Text them?
I don't know. I mean, you never know if they're like, "Hey, I'm coming through." No, I'm coming through Columbus. Let's have lunch.
I'm more of the, hey, I'll see you the night of the show and go back and say hi and hang out in the dressing room for a minute and let them do their thing. Yeah.
Well, I know, but I never know. If like you've been doing it for so long that you've had somebody come through so many times that you've become kind of friendly, but.
Yeah, I mean, Ron's a good one. Ron White's a good one. He comes in every about 18 months, and the staff loves when he comes in, and he's just a good human. It's just it's nice to have good people.
Is he the guy that sits with like a snifter of bourbon or something?
Oh, that's
the
Ron.
guy. Okay. Oh, yeah.
I think his website is tatersalad.com. Serious. I think that's his website.
Is it an ER or OR?
Yeah, ER.
Tator.
and he's got his own tequila company, so it's kind of a cool
they
thing.
All
so
now, though?
Yeah, the tequila thing is cool. Everybody's got wine. It's like, ooh, you got a wine. It's like,
Yeah, but it seems like now everybody has a tequila.
Yeah.
Like once you get a fucking Jenner has one, then it's all downhill from there. So, all right. What do I do? What do I need to do to get famous?
You try to figure out how to be funny for 75 consecutive minutes.
God damn it.
Jeez. Now what?
Yeah.
God damn it.
Consecutive is key right there.
Throw that one in there.
Well, and that's the beauty of the business. So, you have a lot of people that'll just sit there and complain, oh, these artists make too much money and blah, blah. It's like, you know what? Go write a song. Just go write a song. You can't. Go be funny for 75 minutes. You can't. There's something behind it. It's just it's hard to do that.
And I saw somebody, and I'm sorry if the person, I doubt they watched this, but I saw somebody did this post the other day, and they're older. They're in their mid 70s. So it was a very, very get off my lawn post. And it was a meme that they posted from somebody else. Obviously, they didn't write this, and they were like, "I've never needed a celebrity in my life. I've needed a doctor. I've needed an attorney. I've needed whatever, but I've never needed a celebrity." And the gist of it was like, I don't need you. You don't do anything important. And I was wanted to say, like, bitch, you are always talking about, like, you love this movie, you love this song, you love whatever. I mean, art makes the world go round. You know what I mean?
And it's interesting you say that, because if you just jump back, 5 years ago when COVID hit and we were all just stuck in a house and we're like, what do we do? And it's like, you're listening to music, you're watching TV, you're watching movies with your family, and it's the first thing you turn to, so you need it. You need it.
By the way, that was the last time you were on the show was during COVID. It was February of 21.
Wow. So we came out of that, in July, August, I think? I think that's when we reopened, July, August of 21.
Oh, you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was what most of our talk was about, or besides you being prom king, it was...
It was, yes.
Did you bring your money clip today, by the way?
I did not. I'm past it. It took 40 years, but I'm past it.
Oh, we were talking about since you were closed, it was COVID. What the hell were you doing? So.
Yeah, I mean, and it was cool. We were able to get through that, and and it was cool because a lot of the artists we worked with, Bruce Campbell from Evil Dead, he did a cool thing where you could buy see the Evil Dead, and he had commentary, and that was super cool. And Dave Koz, who's a buddy of ours, smooth jazz guy, he did a special, so it was kind of cool. And we helped them promote that to get them some money during a time they couldn't make money, and
yeah. So. I mean that. I actually had a friend that. I'm sure the cat is gone now. It's been a while, but they had a cat named Bruce Campbell.
Oh, he's phenomenal.
My son's cat, one of his cats is named Stanley Tucci. So.
Oh, Stanley Tucci. Love Stanley.
Good cook, that cat.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fitz, when you were a musician, did you have an agent? Or was it like calling up bars and saying
no, this in the mid 90s in South Florida, we just called and asked which Wednesday we could play, and that was pretty much it.
Well, and that's the beauty of Columbus. I mean, we've got all our venues, and they're just we got a couple arenas, and we have incredible clubs and bars, and so it feels like there's a unified stance with everybody who's booking shows and doing stuff in Columbus. Is the key piece is just to get them to stop in Columbus.
You got the Blue Jackets there, right?
Yeah. We got the Blue Jackets.
My buddy used to run the video for that.
You was in the AV club.
AV club.
It was a little better than the AV club. Yeah.
I was in the AV club.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so Christina Calph, right?
I was just looking at pictures of her doing her thing just now. Just this moment.
She is. Do you remember Rosie Pucciarelli?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's her daughter.
Oh, okay.
And she lives out in LA. I've had her on a show before, and lives out in LA, and she puts together. She has a residency where one is an improv show. It's called the Armando, and then there's also a comedy pole show. So it's kind of a variety show that it's comedy and pole dancing.
Oh my goodness.
And the occasional and Fitz lusts after her. So
gotcha.
She's
on
a
a
cutie.
regular basis. On a regular basis.
So so what she does and do you ever have people like, I think in smaller venues, like I'm talking like, Fredonia Opera House or something, like the performer can pay to almost like rent it out.
Oh yeah. You got to remember, we've got 7 venues in Columbus, and there's 365 days a year. So anybody who wants to come in and rent our venues to do a show, to have a wedding, to do a corporate party, to do anything, we've got a lot of space available. So we work with a ton of people. So
then if somebody wanted to like put on a show, like the Little Rascals, hey kids, we're putting on a show. Yeah. Then they would rent it for a flat fee, and then they would just take the ticket sales, or yeah, there's a lot more to it. I mean, you rent the building at a cost, and then you have union stagehands, so they set up the stage, and then you sell tickets, and then you have bartenders, and you have ushers, and it's quite an undertaking in everything we do there. Well, do you take a cut? Or do they pay up front? Like they just pay up front. Like we would rent you the theater, and you say, "Hey, I want to have a wedding here." We say it's $5,000, and you say, "Here's $5,000," and we open the building, and you come in and have a wedding, and it's the greatest day of your life. And say turn off the lights when you leave. We have a lot of people that want that, but we can't just leave people alone in our building. So we get calls today, even like, "Oh, I just need the keys," and it's like, nope. It's like, never met you. We need a little bit more background. We got to do a contract. And,
just give me the keys. Yeah, no problem.
Give me the keys. I'm gonna bring over a couple cases of Coors Light and a couple tins of chicken parm, and we're having a party. We get a lot of the fits in South Florida. Well, we just want to record a video. It's you can't just come in and record a video, and so
we have
it's a whole process. But
worth of liability insurance that'll cover it, right?
Yes. Yeah. we work with a bunch of people, and it is kind of neat when you get somebody calling and explain the process, and then they understand it better. So, because we get a lot of blind calls that just people just call in and just ask, and it's nice talking them through the process. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, what a cool job though. Like, when did you start? What year did you start?
I started at Kappa in November of 1990, and
Holy
I think
crap.
I think I'm almost 20 years into my programming venture. I started out in ticketing for the first 15 years and morphed into programming.
I was going to say, how'd you get into it? What'd you do? Or
I used to manage a record store, and then I kind of left the record store and I went to Kappa and sat in the basement and sold tickets over the phone, and then just kind of worked my way up.
Did they know you were there?
Yes. Barely, but they knew. But yeah, I started there selling tickets and then just loved it. And it's a great organization, and, doing a lot of really, really good work. And the people there are just above and beyond.
When I take us all on the road, I got to know what to do.
It is fun when the bands pull up. I just had an Irish comedy tour a week or so ago, and it was just, what you think, 4 guys in a van, and they roll up, and you're like, hey guys, and you meet the main guy, and you're like, oh, this is great. And, so we get that. And then we also get the Seinfelds where Jerry will fly in and do the show and go back home. And
John, then John takes him home there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I can't ever.
Point.
Yeah.
I can't ever fly on that though. I'm not allowed.
Oh, you're not allowed.
We're supposed to be. Well,
no
even
spouses.
if okay, you're supposed to be a spouse, and I'm not a spouse. I don't want to be a spouse. Sorry. And did that, and so you have to be that, but also it's like you can't schedule ahead of time if you want to go somewhere. Like John could technically go somewhere, but you have to find an empty leg going out. So sometimes they'll just shuttle a plane. They don't have to take anybody, but they need to take somebody from, say they're in Teterboro, and they just
scoot somewhere and
got to scoot over to near Boston. And so if it's there and they got an empty leg, then he can go. And so I always did think that would be fun. Like we could just like go to Teterboro and just sit and wait for the next plane and see where they're going and just hop on. And
right. It's just a little I do. That's all you got to do.
No,
I
don't.
Wow, that was impressive. Gee, you guys must know each other.
I don't.
Just don't. That's my anti-Nike slogan.
Yes,
just don't it.
That's funny. So let me ask you guys a quick question, because I'm always curious. And Madge, I think I saw you and John at Elvis Costello a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
And so what's your preference? Like you have a night to go out. Do you want to go to Andy DeFranco's church bar in Buffalo? Do you want to go to the theater to see Broadway? You just want to go see music, comedy? You like venues? You like bars? I'm curious.
I've started to like theaters much better. Like bars, I can't. Well, nobody that I like is really playing in a bar anymore, and but I'm so short, I'm 5'2", I can't see shit in a bar. So
yep.
And it's loud and people are spilling stuff on you, and I just yell at them to get off my lawn. So, but I'll tell you, like my favorite venue now in Buffalo is the Riviera. I love, and I always prefer the balcony, and preferably one of the back seats, because then I can stand up and dance and
you're not
bother
bugging anybody.
Oh,
exactly.
You still annoy people.
Yeah,
even though you think you're
right.
not.
No, you know me well.
Yes.
I'll always annoy people.
It's funny you mentioned.
Right, like Billy.
Yes, like Billy. We all know Billy. But it's funny you mentioned the balcony, because we get a lot of people that will just buy seats in the balcony. It's better sound, and you're looking straight down. You got a better view. And then you got other people that will not sit up there, and they'd rather sit in the back of the main floor where the sound is the worst. And so everybody's got their thing.
Yeah, like when we went to see, we saw Elvis Costello at UB a few weeks ago, and John didn't get balcony, and we got like on the floor, like over to the side, and I was like you said, it
Yeah.
wasn't good for me. And then, okay, here's a question I have. At theaters like you, what how I always see people at like shows that I go to. Like I saw B-52s in the Beacon in New York, and I just saw Depeche Mode. Well, I saw them in Madison Square Garden, but I saw that Depeche Mode tribute band at the Riviera, and it's like I wanted to stand up and dance the whole
Yeah.
time, but like 7/8 of the audience, they just sit there and watch, and I
Yeah.
don't know how anybody can fucking do that. I can't not move. So what's the policy? I mean,
Yeah, I mean it's just etiquette. I mean, we have some shows where people, a band will walk out and people just stand for 90 minutes. And then we have
right,
other shows where the artist is like, God, clap a little louder. Are you there? You know?
right.
So
You have a pulse?
it's a 50-50. I mean, we're properly seated theater, so we've got seats and all that. We've got a church that we're getting ready to restore and open in early 27 that'll have an open floor where we could do some cool bands, your Luceros and Drive-By Truckers and,
Oh,
cool bar bands. That'll be great to have there. But to do a properly seated show, it's tough. There's some artists that I can't book because they're like, I don't want people sitting while I'm playing. So,
yeah.
yeah.
I wondered about that. If, because and you'll go to some that, yeah, some of the bands are they'll be like, yeah, come on everybody, or
Yeah.
and then you'll have some that are just like phoning it in. Like, I'm like they're going to be watching my podcast, but who is one of the really, really disappointing acts now. Nay, I say terrible acts now, and they were fantastic when I was younger, is B-52s. They literally just stand there.
They're a little bit older now.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
like,
Jesus Christ.
So I can't wait to see you at 79 just singing your life away.
They are not
it's-
She will be.
79.
I guarantee
Yes,
you
she will be. Yes,
She will be.
she will be. But yeah, no, you
Elvis,
got
Elvis Costello was running up the aisle.
Elvis is a good one. There's some of those artists that are just, that's why when people bitch about the Stones and stuff like that, I'm like, oh my God, Mick Jagger is just running miles on that stage. It's like,
I get it that you're less mobile.
yeah,
It's tough.
But B-52s,
But like
they're a party band. So that
Yeah.
their
Yes.
concert should be a party.
they're literally like, if you see a faded sign at the side of the road
Oh,
that
yeah,
says
yeah.
15 miles to the left,
Yeah, and you're
and
like, come on,
the
man.
notes aren't. I don't know. I was very disappointed, but I can say that because I took a lot of my money.
It's interesting because a lot of the legacy acts, you've got your, Frankie Valli, Johnny Mathis. You've got these guys that have been in the business that,
Yeah,
Temptations. They've been
100
around.
years.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh my God, and you just can't turn it off. I mean, I've worked with some artists who have been, older, and it's fantastic that they're still out there. And even, BB King in his latter years, I mean, fantastic human. And, he got to a point where, they'd take him off the bus, they'd walk him in, and he would go out there, and it's just electrified. And he would just be a completely, different person, and was just like, oh my God, this is fantastic. But as you age, it's hard to do that. And the road is so hard. Like BB, for example, he was out on the road 300 days a year. I'm like,
Right.
I travel for 2 days and I'm yelling at people, and it's like, he's doing this stuff for, the majority of the year. So I've always had great respect for folks like BB and, and nowadays, and I'm sure, you probably paid a lot, it's not like $26, you're paying $130 to see it. And
Yeah.
they're like, oh, just do a Rock Lobster or something, just like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to say why bother to do it anymore, but I know how the industry is now. It's not like in the day when they had album sales. Now it's what was it? The tour would be in support of the album, and now it's
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
tour is the moneymaker.
Yeah, you
Thanks,
hear a lot
Spotify.
about record. Oh yeah, you hear a lot about record deals, and I speak not negatively about anything, but a lot of the artists, they do these record deals, and you can't make any money. And that I have artists that will come in that I'll pay to come in. They'll make more money selling their merch than what I'm paying them.
Yes,
And it's
I've heard
fantastic
that.
because I love it. And normally we take a cut of that percentage, but like these younger
Oh, do you?
bands, I'm like, oh my god, just take the money. And they've got hotel money and van money and gas money. It's fun watching those hungry bands, and they're really really smart. These kids that are coming out just are all creative, and they get these
Yeah.
merch companies, and they're selling $35 t-shirts that cost $6, and it's a whole thing. It's like I'm sure you saw the stuff when Taylor Swift was out.
Right.
That tour was massive, and they had people lined up for a mile and a half to buy merch.
Yeah.
During the day, not even at the show. They were just lined up in Cincinnati forever, and just
Totally. From Cincinnati to Columbus.
yeah. I mean, they have semis full of merchandise. It's unbelievable when you can do it right and you can capitalize. It's fantastic, and you see the quantity of cash coming in. It's just
Yeah,
mind-boggling.
because I was watching a documentary the other day, as I often do. I'm really hooked on these. I mean, because there's just so fucking many of them now. A guy with an iPhone can shoot
Oh,
a
yeah.
documentary. But so I was watching this documentary, and it was hell if I can remember who it was, but they would talk about, as a group, some musicians, whatever. I think maybe it was the one where it was what the hell is Aaron Carter, Backstreet Boys,
Oh yeah.
and they were discussing these deals that they
Oh.
would sign.
Yeah.
Oh, and these, and it was like a and books too. I read about a lot of artists from a while ago, and it's their coming up story, and it's like, we often see somebody like oh God, who was the girl from TLC? They went bankrupt and whatever, and
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
my God, you were one of the most amazing people, whatever. But they're like held hostage
Yeah.
by their record companies, and they didn't realize that the thing that they
the
signed was
management, too.
basically
A
right.
lot of those
right, but-
managers like completely just stole from them ridiculously.
Exactly.
Stole them blind.
Yeah.
and-
There was
and
a
that-
lot.
Yeah, it was like they were getting like 10 cents from every, like their cut wasn't even from the gross. It was from after some person took
Yeah.
their cut, then the next person took their cut, then they got that percentage off the last percentage.
It's funny you say that, because there's a great video on Instagram with Jelly Roll. And
Oh.
great. He seems like a great guy.
Yeah,
just
he
easy to
seems-
watch, listen to. And he talked about it, and he's warning, young folks coming up.
Maybe that's
and he's
what I
talking
saw.
about these record deals, and 80%, goes to the company, and you're getting 20%, and that's great because you're making a ton of money, and they're putting all the money up. But if the company puts up $1 million to get your album produced, they'll give you that 20% on the sales, but you have to take that money to pay off the $1 million that they put into the.
That's exactly what it was.
And so he's like, it takes you forever, and he goes, you get these young hotshot kids, and they want a helicopter to fly in, and buildings
Yeah.
on fire, and the record companies are like, sure, here's $400,000, and then they just keep taking that money, and it takes you forever to make any profit.
They were making sure young artists know, or I don't know, whatever, letting them know that like the money is in the publishing. If you're writing, because
Yeah.
if you're just a singer that sings other people's songs, you're still not getting a ton, but ask Sean
Oh, yeah.
Patrick McGraw, one of our other classmates from class of '83.
Yeah.
And he's taking pictures of royalty checks that for like 19 cents that he gets,
Oh yeah, it's there was a thing years ago. Bruce Robeson, his brother Charlie Robeson, was married to one of the Dixie Chicks, and
Oh,
Bruce wrote a song, and they published it and they sang it, and he was talking about how he loved going to his mailbox because he was always getting royalty checks. Like
oh,
he's got a great farm. I'm making a farm in Iowa, and he wrote this one song, and he's making just a ton of money on it. And that's if you can write, you got it made. I mean, Stapleton was huge writing songs, and then he started singing and got even bigger. And it's
yeah.
like, but the money's there. But yeah, the money is in the writing. If you can write, oh my God.
Look at Taylor Swift. I mean, one of the reasons why she's so damn successful is because she wrote most of her songs, if not all of them.
And how does that work? How did it work where like she sold her catalog to somebody? What happens when you sell your catalog?
They can do whatever they want with it. I mean,
but
Dylan
like, do you give away your rights?
Yeah, I mean, you can sell your catalog for 200 million, and then they can put it in Nike commercials or any other commercials, and they can use it for whatever they want, and then they're going to get all the royalty money from it. But it's insane. I can't remember what Dylan was. I thought Dylan sold his, and it was like, oh my God.
Yeah,
it's just like it was massive.
Remember when Michael Jackson bought, he bought the Beatles, right? He bought all
sure
of the,
he
all the
was.
Beatles. And,
he bought all the Beatles stuff, and then
Elephant Man bones.
Yeah. Yes.
What'd you say?
The Elephant Man's
We're just
bones.
talking about bones. Yes. He bought a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, Elephant Man's bones. That's
Yes.
what you said. Oh, okay. Yeah.
She was still hooked on the other thing.
Phonics? What other thing? Excuse me. So yeah, because I guess it's kind of like when this is a stretch, but when I was selling my house in Rochester, people were like, oh, why don't you hang on to it and rent it out? And it's like, I would hang on to it to make a few $100s a month after I paid the mortgage, rather than get $50,000 up front to just sell it outright. I mean, I guess that's kind of a thing. Do you want to have little checks trickle in the rest of your life, or just sell that shit up front? And
Oh yeah. I mean, think of all those people. The Linda Perry's, Bernie Taupin with Elton John.
yeah,
I mean, he wrote wrote lyrics for every Elton John song.
well, maybe I'll try that. Maybe that's
just write
next.
hit songs. It's not that complicated.
Yeah, it's really not that hard.
No, just catchy chorus and clap your hands, and yeah. And then you can call the B-52s and see if they'll record it.
Right.
Because we love them so much.
Just make sure you include lots of accordion. Kids love accordion.
Yes.
Dying for that stuff.
Oh,
What?
oh! I was going to say it's funny you mentioned kids, because
I was going to
that's
say funny you mentioned accordion, but go ahead.
whole nother market. There's a bunch of kid stuff that's out there that's fantastic, and Blippi and Danny
Paw
Go and
Patrol.
Wild Kratts and Paw Patrol. It's
She's
unbelievable.
So, what's the merch like at that?
It's insane. It's insane. Semis,
the kids.
yeah, semis full of merch. It's unbelievable.
I mean, we all had kids, and it's like, buy me a stuffed animal, buy me.
Well,
Yeah.
we were talking about pricing, and it's like, back in the day, I don't even know what we did. I don't even know. I didn't go anywhere because we didn't have a lot of money growing up. But I mean, back in the day, we probably paid $10 to see a show. But now it's like there are parents that'll pay $80-$90 a ticket for a family of 4 to go.
Oh, I know.
Do the math. It's
And
like,
then all the merch on top of it all, yeah.
yeah. And then you go, and it's like, it's unbelievable the merch they put out, because it's like they walk in and the kids just beeline. And you're just like, oh my God. And it's like parents are just pissed. And you're like, there's another $50-$70. And
Sorry, capitalism.
yeah. It's always interesting. This is nothing bad, but like when we have our kid shows, usually we have huge bars and rock music and comedians and we have kid shows. So we'll have pop and water and snacks and stuff. You always get about 10, 12 parents that'll come up and go, can I get a beer? And you're like, Yeah, we'll get you one. We're gonna pour it in a cup, though. It's like, because you want the parents to at least get through it. So
Yeah,
not a lot of
exactly.
demand, but it's kind of funny. You're like, yeah, you're at a kid show, but you can have a beer.
Yeah, that was always me when I sat in the car waiting for my kids to get out of soccer practice. No, I'm kidding. I never
Yes.
did that.
I still didn't hear from Chris and Fitz about choice of like you like bars,
right.
you like
Yeah.
theaters, you like
I like comedy clubs,
That's what I was thinking.
and
love comedy clubs.
I don't like venues that are too big. I don't like huge. I used to, but now I'm old and crotchety. I don't care for the big venues. I
Yeah.
like smaller venues. I don't like going into the nosebleed seats. And I was gonna say earlier, one of the worst concerts I ever saw was Barry Manilow. This was
Barry.
Well,
this was
yeah.
probably 2004 or 4 or 5 or something like that. This was down in Florida, and it was like Barry Manilow. I mean, I wasn't super excited to see Barry Manilow. My wife was, but I was like, all right, I know a bunch of his songs.
He writes the songs.
He
for
writes the
God's sake.
songs. I mean, everybody cries.
Ding, ding, ding.
He didn't even sing like his biggest
Mandy.
songs, like Mandy.
Yeah.
He didn't even sing it. He played the piano. Well, somebody was playing. It wasn't him. Somebody was playing the piano, and then he walked off, and they played videos. So they just played videos of his big songs, and he didn't even do it. I'm like, what the hell is this bullshit?
This is the shit I'm talking about. I want a refund.
Seriously.
yeah.
That's no good.
But he did play. Like the jingles, like the KFC jingles and shit that he
because
wrote.
he wrote that "Hold the Pickle, Hold the Lettuce" and all that. He did.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, he,
yeah.
That's
Barry
very
Manilow
cool.
wrote that.
But
Have it
that
your
was the
way.
best
You
part.
know-
That was the best part.
You know who else wrote? You know who else wrote a lot of jingles that I didn't know about? Like, I didn't know much about this guy because I wasn't into him, but I just watched this documentary recently that wrote a lot of really good hits jingles was Luther Vandross. Really?
Oh yeah, I just saw his
Yeah.
documentary.
Did you watch that?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
amazing.
What did he write?
Stuff.
Of course.
Yes.
What do you have
didn't
to
take
ask?
notes?
I know.
Hold
Come
the
on, was
pickle,
it?
hold the lettuce.
No, that was definitely Manilow that wrote that.
It was
It's the only jingle I know.
it was like something a really big hit that you would like have a Coke and a smile. I mean, something of that caliber. And it was more than one. So like talk about getting some checks,
Some checks.
Oh yeah.
Checks.
But I don't like to
Christopher-
watch a show where you have to watch the monitor to see the person either. That really
Gino's Pizza?
where there's just no way you can
Oh yeah.
watch the show without watching the jumbotron to see their face. That's
Can
Yeah,
you
that's-
put Chris on the screen, Fitz? Oh, sorry.
he doesn't
That's the,
fit on the
uh,
screen.
Yes. That's the tough part when you do stadiums. As fun as it is being there with 90,000 people, it's rough. You're trying to squint looking at a big ass video screen, and it's rough.
Yeah, that's how it was when, my daughter works for the NHL and she can get
Oh, yeah.
tickets to Madison Square Garden, and it's like it's in the NHL suite in the arena, and it's she doesn't find out till a few days before, because if nobody else is using it for any important people or something, you know how that is. And so I saw Greatest Night of My Life, saw Depeche Mode there, and that did suck that I had to look at the monitor sometimes, but it was still such an overall great show. And just, Dave Gahan just spinning around every time he did that, I was just like,
Yeah, we saw that show in Atlanta last October.
oh,
and it
that's
was
right, you did. We
unbelievable.
talked about that.
Unbelievable show. He's another great front man. Just like
Oh my God. He
Yeah.
never stops. I
No.
mean, he's just a few years older than us, couple
Oh,
two
yeah.
tree.
little richer.
Have you seen that? Because I saw on I know Joe Gula's seen him because I saw it on his Facebook. But Strange Love, have you
Oh.
had them?
Mm-mm.
They're
Oh
the
yeah, my wife's seen him.
yeah,
My wife's a
Depeche
massive
Mode
Depeche Mode.
tribute.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
excellent.
Yep.
They are freaking excellent. And even I was in the bathroom afterwards, and these couple women were like, they were better than the real thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
there has to be a real thing first.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I'm like, okay, if you just want to go and watch a jukebox, sure, but no, nothing beats Dave Gahan,
that's
It's
a whole nother realm with the tribute bands, and there's a ton of them out there with Petty and Dylan,
yeah,
everything. There's all
and
kinds of
that's the
stuff out
thing
there.
that the Riviera does. Like they
Yeah,
showed a video loop, and it was just all tribute bands that
yeah,
they get there. And I mean, they're fun. I've been
they're
dying to
fun. Yeah, yeah,
see.
yeah.
I've been dying to see Stop Making Sense, and I haven't seen them. Have you guys had them? Talking
I
Heads
actually have the
tribute.
movie on May 4th. I'm showing the actual movie at my 900 seater. But no, we don't do tons of cover bands.
Yeah,
I mean, they sell. It's more clubbish, kind of, four or
yeah,
500 in a club. So
yeah.
we've
I
got a
mean,
ton of clubs here they can play at.
yeah. It was just like like what I said, just like watching a jukebox. If you, I mean, the songs were uncannily like the original, but
Yeah, and it's always fun when you're making it up. You're at a beer festival in Tonawanda, and they've got a couple cool cover bands, and
or
you're walking
Cheektowaga.
around. Yeah, and
Right.
those are always perfect for that. I would like to say my favorite show that I've ever had at my venue, that I've ever seen at
Oh
my
yes,
venue,
please.
was Tom Waits. Probably maybe 12, 15 years ago. It's
Oh.
very, very rare that he tours, and he was doing a southern tour.
Hmm.
And I talked to his manager, and his manager called, super nice guy. And he was like, hey, Tom was, checking out venues, and he loves the Ohio theater, and he wants to play. So he just came like from the east and was all south, and he popped up to Columbus, did one date, and went back south, and then just went back over. And
Oh.
and it was one of those insane moments where it was just like, wow. I mean, him finding that on the internet, and he loved the architecture. He just loved
Oh
he knew the
yeah.
architect, and it was super
Okay.
cool. And we've had Prince and Sting and all kinds of
Oh,
people
gee.
come through.
And they
So.
bring all their own sound equipment and all that sort of thing. Is that the common?
Yeah,
Yeah.
usually folks like that, they're going to travel with stuff, all their backline, all their guitars and drums. They want to know they've got everything, so they've got semis. Some bands will bounce around from city to city. We'll have guitars and drum kits waiting for them. But those bigger bands, those instruments are worth a lot of money.
Do you ever have you ever had, I mean, I know you don't want to burn any bridges, but like have you ever had to like ban somebody, like say either they were terrible or did so much damage or something that you're like, no, I
We had an artist come in. I'm not going to say the name.
sure, I
People won't care, but my one venue that's 2,700 seats, the Palace Theater. We had just done a $3.5 million restoration on all the dressing rooms, and we brought in this artist who had a couple bands perform before her, and they went in and they were fine, but one of the bands like took a bunch of silly string and just sprayed it all over the dressing room.
oh
And if you know silly string, like you peel it off the wall and it's just all this oil residue.
yeah.
It was just like, I mean, we just spent $3.5 million on a dressing room, and they were young. I didn't care. We just charged the promoter, and they paid us, and we repainted and all that. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, I'm telling you, 99% of the people coming through, they're just happy to be getting money and doing what they love, and they're humans. It's amazing. You just think, Jerry Seinfeld's a great example. I mean, 100 years ago, he was at the Palace, and I was just standing there, and he was getting ready to go on, and he was just like, "Hey, how are you?" And I'm like, "Great, how are you?" And you're treating each other with
Yeah.
respect, and just a nice guy. And
That's how John said he was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Now,
amazing. I saw him at Chautauqua Institution, and he was just outstanding.
really?
Yeah.
When
He
was
is-
that?
It's probably 8 years ago, maybe something like that. Yeah.
He played there after the show, after Seinfeld. I mean, I would
Oh
think
yeah, he
that
did
he
his
would be
stand up back
only
there, and
big.
it was yeah. He's just
I would
and
think
he's
that would
so
be
down
kind
to
of a
earth,
small.
like you just would never expect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, those are good ones, and it's and like I said, I mentioned Prince earlier. We had Prince come in, and it was a different album. He had put out like a jazz album back in the day,
Hmm.
and he booked the Ohio Theater. He came in, sold it out. I'll never forget. I went in to just check on some stuff in the theater, and there's Prince, and he's sitting down there like in this little pit area, and he's got like 20, 25 kids, and he's just talking to kids about music and how to get into and I'm like, this is the greatest human on earth. It's like he's
that's
bigger
so
than life, and he's
cool.
talking to 15-year-old kids about how to get into the music business, and I'm like, who does that? It's just phenomenal.
So that's awesome. So I got to tell you something real quick. You were making me think the silly string story. So the lady, in the suites in an arena, you have an attendant, and we had this lady, and God, I can't think of her name, but she was like, I want to say, like Angela or something, but she was stereotypical Bronx Puerto Rican woman about our age, and she said it. She's like, I'm just a Puerto Rican girl from the Bronx, and she's like, let me tell you who is terrible.
That's awesome.
Anyway, she was so nice. She just started giving me all the tea, and I'm just like, and she told me the worst person ever. And this isn't a big surprise. Everybody knows, but she said the worst person ever, because sometimes I guess they kind of rotate through that they have to wait in the green room. Like they have to be the attendant in the green room.
Yep.
The absolute worst person was Madonna.
Wow.
At Madison Square Garden, because for one, it's like she showed up like 2 hours late, and she's like, and it was a school night. It was like a Tuesday. It was a school night, and people were getting mad. They gotta go to work in the morning. She's just going on, and then she shows up, and she doesn't care. She doesn't care.
Yeah.
It was like watching a cartoon. And then the other one, she said, "Oh, the other one." She's like, "The other one he's a nice guy, but God, is he lazy?" Was Rod Stewart. She's like, he came on stage and pulled out a chair and just sat down, started singing, just sat in the chair.
He's 90, for God's sake.
Yeah. I sit down all day.
I know, right?
I sit at my job.
Then I'm like, well, he is a little old. She's like, yeah, but like, he didn't even, it's Rod Stewart. Come on. She was so animated. I'm like, am I on, Impractical Jokers or Candid Camera? But she was hilarious. I got all the tea from her. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyway, well, it was fantastic having you on today, Rich.
Oh yeah, always a pleasure. Always
a pleasure. Let me know when you're coming this way again. I record my podcast in your guest room.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
I was just talking to my wife about your house, so she's been there a couple times.
Yes, that's right. You guys, the three of you all stayed. That's right. And
Chris and Fitz, I was looking up an Airbnb a couple years ago, and I was like, "Oh, this place looks cool." And then I click on it, and Madge's head pops up, and I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And I'm like,
Madge
and so I pick up my phone and I text Madge. I'm like, "What the hell is it?" She goes, "Oh, that's my house," and blah blah blah. I'm like, "Oh my God!" It was the funniest thing ever. I was like, "Wow." So we appreciated that.
You got a coupon code?
I know.
Yes. Yes.
he got a Groupon.
Yeah.
He gave him a discount, frequent flyer.
Oh,
it was fantastic.
So, Rich, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. If you like this conversation today, we got plenty more. Subscribe to my podcasts here, Madge Unmuted. Fitz and Chris, as always, love you guys.
Thanks, Rich.
Thanks for joining us. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week on the next episode. Oh wait, no, you won't see me next week. I gotta go to Connecticut for business. Sorry. We'll see you in 2 weeks on the next episode of Madge Unmuted.